Recently, Chris Schiff, a media ally of Harry and Meghan, admitted that King Charles has never met Lilibet, Meghan and Harry's alleged daughter. And then, when King Charles offered for them to bring the two children to Britain to meet the royal family, Meghan Markle said the royal family needed to apologize first. Of course, that aroused suspicions. Let's dig a little deeper, and I want to say welcome back to my YouTube channel, The Queen. Okay, so according to sources, Meghan has always confirmed that Lily, Harry and Meghan's second child, did in fact go to Britain, and she even met her namesake, the late Queen Elizabeth, and King Charles too, and also other members of the British royal family. Even in Spare, we hear a story about how they met. But recently, Chris Schiff, Meghan and Harry's media ally, has revealed that in fact, Lily never met any members of the royal family, and that has sparked a lot of controversy. But it doesn't surprise me one bit. I have never believed that the late Queen met Lilibet. I mean, how could somebody have an attachment to somebody they never met, or only met a couple of times, like Archie? And as we have learned since then, it was quite an effort for the late Queen to even make it a few steps to the balcony at her Jubilee. She was in so much pain, and she was basically already dying. But now, Harry expects us to believe that a child was hanging all over her legs and having a great time, that they were on the floor playing together. Harry is such an idiot. I mean, honestly, I would never even allow my young children to hang all over a woman in her 90s. If Harry is going to continue with the lies, he needs to work on making them a little bit more believable. I think it's safe to say, if Charles never met Lilibet, the Queen certainly didn't either. At the very least, and on point of principle, the late Queen would have insisted that the child have to meet her grandfather first before coming around to meet her. She insisted that Meghan Markle reconcile with her father, and when Harry whined about money to her, she told him he needed to go speak to his father. So I think it's obvious that little girl has not met anybody. And Harry told so many lies in his book. That's why the book is never going to win any awards. I have talked about a similar topic before, and I highly doubt that the late Queen cared that much about her new great-grandchildren. And I'm not trying to say that she didn't care, that she didn't love them. But elderly people usually think, what a beautiful baby when they first meet their great-grandchild. And of course, they'll send birthday cards, Christmas cards, and they're happy to see them whenever they have the opportunity to do so. But it's not like they're desperate to spend so much time with them. I mean, a woman in her 90s has seen plenty of babies throughout her lifetime. Old age is exhausting, and sometimes being around little babies is just a bit much for the elderly. And I don't think I have put this as well as I could have. I'm sure most great-grandparents absolutely love getting to meet the new babies in the family, but it's not like there's this desire to spend all their time with them. Now, for a first-time grandparent, yes, of course, but a great-grandparent is a little different. And I would suspect by that time in 2022, the late Queen had put up with enough of Harry and Meghan's antics. I mean, they stole her private pet name, after all. She had so many talks with Harry and Meghan before she took away the patronages, and before she told them they couldn't continue to live as working royals. So the thing is, she wasn't well in the summer of 2022, and what little strength she had left, she focused on her duties. Moreover, the late wonderful Queen always tried to take care of her grandchildren, and she tried to pay attention to them. We have seen the late Queen interacting with her great-grandchildren, the Wales children, with the Phillips children too, and the Tyndalls. She did spend time with them at Balmoral, and she enjoyed time with the children. She got to know them as people. You can see her interaction with that little Prince Louis at the balcony appearance. That was one of the sweetest things I have ever witnessed. So she was close to some great-grandchildren because she actually got to know them and spend time with them. But Lilibet, even if she did meet with her, it was only one time, and there's no way they could have been close. And I'm sure she loved her just like she loves the other great-grandchildren and grandchildren in the family. But still, it's a real shame that Lily has such a narcissistic witch as a mother, somebody who alienates her from the royal family, and more scary, separate Lily altogether from the outside world. It's horrible the way that Meghan will not allow her children to interact with the royal family. It's such a pity, too. Another thing that has me convinced that Lily never met the royal family is the fact that when Harry and Meghan landed in Heathrow, we got all these paparazzi photos, and we didn't see any baby stuff being put into the jet, and when they got back to California, they also didn't have any baby stuff. There was a single front-facing child safety seat in the middle row in the lead Tahoe, and a little Razor tri-scooter for what was then Archie's age. There was a swing that they took from Frogmore and some other equipment. But among all these photos, we didn't get a single shot of a 1-year-old Lilibet. Even the royal family, even Charles, even the late Queen, didn't make any statements that either were even eligible to be in LA. In fact, we've seen a lot from King Charles and from the late Queen that suggests that they also doubt the legitimacy of these children to be in the line of succession. And that, my friends, is a big deal. So the reason why they all of a sudden thought that it was so important to christen Lily on Good Friday in a ceremony that nobody attended is because it was a requirement to be of the faith, and then that same day they announced the Prince and Princess titles. Now, if those children are real, if they really do live with Harry and Meghan, one day they are going to hate them. The karma is going to be coming for Harry and Meghan. They will not get to have a relationship with their own children. They certainly won't have a relationship with their grandchildren if they ever have any. They probably won't even be invited to attend the children's weddings. Perhaps Harry, but karma is real. And I think Meghan is a really scary person to have as a mother. Charlotte, George, and Louis, on the other hand, at least they have all these treasured memories of their great-grandmother. They have wonderful memories with their grandfather, and even Camilla's grandchildren have a real relationship with Charles. It is really sad to see everything Harry and Meghan have done, and I don't see how it could be worth it. I think eventually Harry is going to come to regret everything he has done since meeting Meghan Markle. And with Archie, I don't know that the story is all that different. I don't know that anybody has met him either. I mean, there are only a couple of photos of the royal family with Archie, and they were really photoshopped. There's the photo of Queen Elizabeth and Doria, and that weird royal christening photo too. But there are no photos at the chapel or with anybody in that photo. You know that Meghan would have pushed baby Archie into the arms of Diana's sister for photo ops, and those photos would have made their way into the media. And what about that weird christening that supposedly took place in Montecito for Lily? Again, supposedly Diana's sisters were there? No, I don't believe it. I mean, there would have been so many photos taken with Diana's sisters holding a baby Lily, but instead we got nothing. So obviously Harry and Meghan are lying once again, and they are trying to scam everybody. This has to be the biggest con ever enacted on the royal family in modern times. Personally, I am convinced that they're lying about the legitimacy of the children. All King Charles really needs to do is say for the kids to be eligible for the line of succession, they have to be educated and they have to grow up in Great Britain. What makes me feel sorry for the kids, though, is that I'm pretty sure Catherine is a remarkable aunt, so loving, so kind, so generous, and William would be such a fun uncle to have too. The photos that she could take of all the King's grandchildren together would be gorgeous. It's really tragic that the children do not have the influence of the Waleses in their lives. Prince Louis is also such a fun cousin. Who wouldn't want to play with that little boy? And I think it's really wrong to dangle access to the children like a carrot in front of the royal family's noses. It's really cold and calculating. And of course, the royal family is not falling for it. Denying the children relationships with their extended family members on both sides is cruel. Playing games with their children has led the royal family and the public to just shrug their shoulders and say, okay, you don't want us to see your kids? Well, fine then. You know what, though? Good luck to Meghan Markle trying to make money off those children when they have kept them hidden away. Clearly, Meghan is the one who will not allow visitation. It's the same as she did to the dying Queen Elizabeth. She is a control freak, and she's also insane. She's supposedly a mother, but she just uses her children as pawns in her games. She is not fit to be a mother. It's sad to me, though, that these children are being deprived of the right to have a relationship with their grandparents. I mean, Meghan is so ungrateful for everything that she's got. She doesn't deserve any of it. Now, I'm a grandparent and I'm a parent, and a big part of the joy of being a grandmother is seeing your offspring now in the parenting role. Well, if we think about the way Harry has proven himself to be an awful person, I don't believe King Charles is so excited to see Harry as a father. Probably Harry is just looking for validation from King Charles. And I also suspect there is a big reason that nobody in the royal family wants to mention those children. And I don't even think surrogacy is the biggest reason. I think there's a big problem, maybe with Archie specifically. And that's why we never see him in the media. We just see these blurry, vague, distant photos. I mean, why are they hidden? And to use Harry's paranoia about the press as an excuse for hiding Archie is something I don't buy. Something is being covered up. And as for Lily, I suspect that either she doesn't exist, or maybe Harry and Meghan never fully adopted her from her surrogate mother. Does anybody, though, believe that Meghan is going to be willing to let those kids go to a country that she cannot control? I don't think so. Now, she might get some kind of weird photos of her children visiting graves, but I'm guessing those wouldn't be worth much. I mean, the children, their existence is shrouded in mystery, and there's fewer than 10 photos between the two of them. So I suspect that's why the family, and more importantly the media, are not sharing a lot about them. It doesn't really reflect poorly on the family or the media. It reflects poorly on Meghan and Harry, because obviously they are still obsessed with trashing and playing games with both. Alright, now I want to talk to you about an equally interesting story regarding the royal family's conflict with Meghan Markle. As we all know, King Charles asked Meghan to come to the UK this summer with the kids. And to me, that also confirms the fact that King Charles has never even met Lily or Archie. So bringing the two kids to meet the king and the royal family was necessary because King Charles wanted to get to know the grandchildren. After all, they are listed in the line of succession. But in response to the king's generous offer, Meghan Markle did something pretty controversial. So Meghan has demanded that the royal family have to apologize first. And is this Meghan just throwing away an opportunity? So before getting into this question, I want to ask all of you, did you ever watch somebody toss opportunity out the window like Meghan does? I really can't believe there are people that stupid, but then I look at Meghan, and obviously a narcissist is that stupid. Recently, King Charles has proposed that maybe Harry and Meghan would need to return to the UK next month and they should bring their two kids along. It seemed like a great opportunity for Harry and Meghan to try to regain the trust of the royal family. But remember, Meghan is a narcissistic fool, and she's not going to humble herself in front of the royals. She even said that King Charles needed to apologize to her before she would ever come back to England. She knows good and well she's not going to get the apology, and she's already said that she'll never come back to Britain and she'll never bring the children there unless she gets an apology. So she thinks that means that she's in the clear. I'm sure she sees this as a win-win for herself. She can't take the kids there now, so that's no longer a problem. And she assumes that everybody will feel sorry for her. She'll get so much sympathy because the mean royal family refuses to apologize to poor Meghan Markle and her poor invisible children. Even if the royals apologize, things wouldn't work out well because Meghan would feel validated. She would feel like she was confirmed to be the world's biggest victim. And if she succeeded in convincing the public that she's a victim, well, she succeeded in life. You know, I would have said, wow, this phony narcissist finally has a little success. And the media would also report on Meghan, and she would get a lot of attention, which is exactly what she wants. I mean, even the fact that the king asked her to please come to the UK and take the kids has become a topic for Meghan to try to stir up some chaos in the media with. Doesn't she even get tired of playing all these games? She's never gonna get an apology, and she knows that. So what does leaking this information really do for her? I would love to have an answer. Maybe Meghan has asked for an apology because the Queen kicked her out of the UK. Wouldn't the Queen also need to be there? I'm sure, though, none of the current royal family members are going to be apologizing to Meghan, and the late Queen wouldn't have done that either. It's a moot point. We all know this apology is just an excuse to keep Meghan far away. I'm guessing even Harry doesn't understand what the apology is supposed to be for. And that's why he just went with the phrase, they know what they have done. Harry couldn't even remember what the issue was. And sometimes, I know some of you are going to disagree with me, but sometimes I still do feel a little bit sorry for Harry because he married Meghan. Meghan Markle, everything she does is very calculated. She knew what she was doing. She manipulated him. So I think Meghan would see all this asking for an apology as a win-win situation for her, because she only cares about herself. She is dangerous. There is also a point where narcissists begin to realize that their little games are not working anymore, and so they switch strategies. The royal family is not going to apologize. So she's going to say that she wants an apology, and that's a way of her announcing, oh, the family hurt me and I'm a victim. This is ridiculous though. The public is never going to trust her again. She needs to start coming up with some new excuses pretty soon, or nobody's going to be interested in her. At this point in time, nobody's interested in her anyway. The truth is, you can only keep paid fans around for so long. And that's not gonna mess with the royal family. Meghan Markle is insane, but she's not really having any effect on the royals. Meghan will never admit that the royal family kicked her out, and the royal family doesn't care about her. They know they're dealing with some unhinged individuals. Meghan also refuses to admit that she's scared of being booed by the public. So instead, she's gonna blame the royal family for not caring about her, for misleading her. But anyway, I'm done with talking about apologies. It's getting boring. Instead, let's talk a little bit about the past. Let's talk about the time when Harry and Meghan left England and the royal family. Well, it's been 4 years. Meghan had meetings before ever being married to Harry, and that she was planning to come back to Hollywood after her 72 days spent as a working royal. Meghan and Harry are now supposedly stronger than ever since they left their royal roles. Their favorite cheerleader, Omid Scobie, said that Harry and Meghan are thriving since they stepped back from their royal duties and moved to the US. Scobie said, "They seem to be existing in a different place, and that place is much healthier." Meghan famously spoke about how it was not enough to survive. We are now in the Thrive chapter. The language here might be a little vague, but the Thrive chapter, I guess, does have a ring to it. Supposedly, Harry is no longer held down by the mentality of other working royals. Instead, supposedly, Harry has found a supportive partner in Meghan Markle, somebody who fights for Harry's rights, and that has emboldened him, according to the source. But there's more. Meghan Markle is removing herself from the royal family's drama, according to a report. Speaking with People magazine, Omid Scobie went into detail about how Meghan Markle is trying to move on from past turmoil, but Harry still has some loose ends to tie up with his family. According to Scooby-Doo, Meghan is moving on. Meanwhile, Harry still has unfinished business. Okay, then. I guess Meghan is just encouraging her idiot husband, and she's not bothered at all. She's left the drama behind. No, I don't think so. And what is she insisting on an apology for anyway? What, should they apologize for that wedding that was worth £30 million? Should they apologize for the hug that Catherine didn't want? Could it be an apology for all the employees that Meghan Markle scared away? It's ridiculous. Meghan Markle has no reason to insist on any apology from the royal family. Meghan is the one who should be apologizing. It's a liar's gambit, though, that she's playing. She's a liar. She exaggerates. She loves to create a narrative so complicated that she can't keep up with her lies. And I'm guessing she doesn't want to go back and face the consequences of her actions. So she's asking for something that she knows she'll never get. And that gives her the perfect excuse to stay put in California. The reality is, she owes so many apologies. She really is a nasty piece of work. The royal family gave Meghan and Harry so many privileges, so many opportunities. And the more Harry and Meghan talked and shared their truth, the more they went to the courts, the more they filed lawsuits, the more reports got exposed to the public, which showed how much the royal family tried to help them. It just makes the two of them look like a couple of spoiled toddlers instead of adults who experience real difficulties. So that's the reason their reputations are in the gutter. It's their own fault. And I think the royal family was way too tolerant with them. So let's talk a little bit about the children, because we need to talk a little bit about them. If Meghan doesn't have custody of the invisible children, then of course she can't take them anywhere with her. So she distracts everybody from the speculation, and she tries to trick the media by lying that she refuses to take them without the king apologizing publicly, and also the story that racist people are going to attack her children in Britain. The real problem here is that it could be Meghan can't take the children with her to visit Britain. or perhaps even any of her friends in the US. Meghan is always traveling alone or with Harry. We see some blurry photos of the kids if she ever takes them anywhere. And this hypothesis that Meghan is worried about the safety of the children in the UK is BS. She's just not willing to chance that somebody can get the child's DNA from a hair strand or a used cup, because then that's going to provide proof that those children do not belong in the line of succession. I think this is Meghan's only real motive. She's refusing to head to Britain, and she's demanding an apology from the royals to try to cover up the fact that the children are not real, or, well, they weren't really born from her body. So I guess Meghan figures that if she just never returns to Britain, then the truth about the invisible children will never be exposed. Honestly, though, she needs to apologize for all the lies that she has told. Maybe if she did that, that would make the royal family feel something for her. I mean, attacking the royal family and demanding these empty apologies certainly isn't helping her. Alright friends, I hope the information I just shared is useful to you, and I would love to hear more about your opinions because they are so valuable. They truly enrich our discussions, and they help us see topics from different angles. Thank you so much for watching, goodbye for now, and I'll be back to see you in new videos on the Queen YouTube channel.